Melanin, What Makes Black People Black? Biochemical Blackness by Llaila Afrika. How to protect it, how to nourish melanin, the difference between black and white people, how it causes emotional behaviors and thoughts, how it is being destroyed. Melanin, copyright 2009 by Llaila Afrika, all rights reserved. No part of this book may be reproduced in any form without written permission from the publisher. For more information, addressed Seaburn Publishing Group, P.O. Box 2085, Long Island City, New York, 11102, Library of Congress, number in publication data 2009. ISBN 159-232-1860, paperback. Available online at www.blackbookplus.com. And now, the foreword. The subject of melanin is straightforward and simple to explain. Melanin is the biochemical substance that drives physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual life. What makes the subject difficult to explain is the awkward, primitive Latin language that is used in science. Any attempt to avoid the use of the Latin language of chemistry and biology makes information appear unscientific and unintelligent. This was the challenge in writing about melanin, having to write in everyday language and trying to avoid science, Latin, jargon. The lectures and books on melanin are very Latin jargon centered. Most black people that read about melanin say, "What good is it? It does not help you be free." They, of course, are correct. A black person is unaware of melanin, is manipulated and controlled by their unawareness. Black people need to know the basics about melanin and how to nourish melanin so they can get some positive use from it. Black people are controlled by their failure to realize that the black race is a melanin-dominant race. The key to controlling black people is to reduce their blackness, which is melanin usage and knowledge. This will reduce their variability to be black, which will directly affect their ability to be human and seek what is humanly theirs: freedom. Black people are a race nourishing themselves as if they are Caucasians. Since the Caucasians have the least amount of melanin, then black people that eat as if they are Caucasians are giving themselves the least amount of nourishment to their melanin. This causes them to utilize their melanin the least. Therefore, black people are nutritionally against their own melanin and anti-melanin. They are ignorantly fighting against melanin and themselves. In this writing, I have briefly attempted to reveal melanin's properties and how the human body biochemically uses and nourishes it. The black race's undereducation, diseducation, and miseducation about melanin merely reflects one particle of their white domination and post-traumatic colonialism trauma and post-traumatic slave trauma. Black people must know thyself, and to know yourself is to know melanin. About pineal and melanin. The scientific literature has very few objective facts, and many science principles and rules are subjective fairy tale stories called theory. All theories are unproven and unscientific. The objective facts are that black people are a race that has the highest amount of the biochemical pigment called melanin. Melanin is a civilizing chemical, reproduces itself, a free radical protector, can be transformed by radiation and high temperatures. Melanin is inside and outside the body. The more melanin a race has, the more humane and civilized the race. Science myths, which are theory, have clouded and avoided the true information about melanin and the pineal gland that secretes melanin. Melanin is the vital chemical that makes life itself. It's usually brown to black in color. Melanin is flexible like plastic, can resemble a cloud, gas, wood, metal, or liquid, and takes on many forms without losing its structure. It is heat resistant, can endure temperatures of 1,225 degrees Fahrenheit, has a pleasant odor, resists X-ray diffraction, resists strong acids and alkaline, etc. Melanin is found in the environment, springs, lakes, soil, plants, atmosphere, and animals. The pituitary gland, which is a gland in the middle of the brain that secretes growth hormones, has been erroneously called the master gland. However, the pineal gland, which is also in the middle of the brain, is the true master gland. The pineal gland secretes melanin, which regulates all bodily functions and glands, meaning it cycles circadian rhythms in the body. Melanin is a biochemical that has a high molecular weight. This means it has many functions and links, like a chain that contains carbon, nitrogen, ether, saturated carbon-carbon, unsaturated carbon-carbon, organometallic peroxides, and is essentially a black carbon hydroamine. These various links allow melanin to be a polymer, meaning it takes many forms, and polycyclic, meaning many rhythms, and have a unique property and flexible chemical ability. Melanin is made by cells called melanocytes. Inside the melanocytes are smaller organs, or organelle, called melanosome, which make melanin. Inside the endoplasmic reticulum, the melanosomes are made. In other words, small cells build bigger cells build larger cells, and the end product of all the building from a small particle into a large particle is the chemical melanin. Melanin essentially produces itself with substances such as copper. Melanin absorbs all types of energy such as sunlight, electromagnetic, music heard by the human ear, and sounds the human ear cannot hear, phone waves, radio waves, radar, computer radiation, X-ray, cosmic rays, ultraviolet rays, heat waves, microwaves, etc., etc. Melanin uses the energy in the total environment, such as water energy, Earth, Moon, Sun, galaxy, cycles of planets, cycles cycles of minerals, etc. On the molecular level, the melanin particles, called electrons, protons, neutrons, and solitons, rearrange their orbits. This is called resonance. In other words, the melanin particles vibrate and rearrange themselves to fill the weak, low energy sites. Resonance causes a particle to move. This movement causes a small gap, low energy site, and the other particles rearrange themselves to double bond shift and fill the gap. Melanin is the natural chemical that makes black people's skin black. It is present in black people's bodies, skin, cells, nerves, brain, muscles, bones, reproductive and digestive systems, and all bodily functions in a higher amount than all other races. Melanin is a biological active substance of various size cells. It is made of nutrients such as indoles, histamines, catecholamines, norepinephrine, epinephrine, dopamine, etc., and the amino acid tyrosine. Melanin is made of various attached parts called chains, which are linked to unsaturated carbon-carbon, saturated carbon-carbon, carbon-nitrogen, organometallic ether, peroxides, and quinine, which are brown to black in color. Chemicals such as flavin, pyridines, flavonoid, naphthquinone, polycyclinone, anthraquinone, phenoxyzones convert into melanin, which is polymerized or co-polymerized. The color of melanin appears as black because it is absorbing all colors. The color of melanin appears as black because it is absorbing all colors. Once the color enters the melanin, it cannot escape. Melanin is concentrated colors. It is a cellular black hole, similar to the black holes in outer space. The human eye only sees colors that are reflected away from an object. If an object appears black in color, that means that the object is absorbing all colors except black. Black is reflected away from the object. Consequently, you see black. Black is a pigment, which is a color, that makes carbon black in appearance. Melanin. Melanin is an organic dark carbon chemical pigment substance. Melanin gives black people iris a brown color. Melanin gives black people's iris a brown color. Melanin gives black people's iris a brown color and gives the dark color to their hair, skin, and the substantia nigra of the brain. This is an area of the brain where the cerebrum connects to the pons, or pons, as some may pronounce it. Melanin is secreted by the pineal gland The pineal gland has a pine cone shape, is reddish in color, and the stem of it is approximately half an inch in length, and the head of it is slightly smaller than a green pea, and the total weight is about 2 grams. The pineal gland consists of nerve cells similar to those in the retina nerve of the eye. The retina nerve is inside the eyeball and receives light stimulation, which it transmits to the brain. The pineal gland is found inside a fluid-filled space inside the middle of the brain called the third ventricle, and it is attached inside the ventricle. The pineal stimulates the growth of the nervous system's cerebrum, which is the thinking brain part called gray matter. Therefore, an understimulated pineal in childhood can decrease thinking ability in adulthood. The melanin content of the nerves is highest in Black people. Melanin allows nerve messages to travel fast without resistance, causing superconductivity. Black people have the highest amount of melanin on the upper part of the spinal cord, which is the brain stem, where the lower part of the brain connects to the spinal cord. The melanin concentrates on the brain's locus coeruleus in the fourth ventricle, and reticular formation, which are black dots. This causes the brain to store more information and function at a high level. The function of the body's melanin and the brain's melanin is reduced by steroids, which are stimulants, synthetic speeds, cocaine, caffeine, and antidepressants, which are cholinergics, and unnatural light. The pineal helps to regulate the hypothalamus glands, release factors that stimulate the pituitary to secrete the follicle stimulating hormone, FSH, and aids the luteinizing hormone, which is LH. FSH stimulates the ovaries and the movement of sperm, and LH stimulates egg and sperm production. Consequently, a Black person with an understimulated pineal, or one that uses drugs or eats processed foods, such as junk foods, will harm the pineal and have reproductive problems. The processed foods and drugs impact the pineal. The pineal regulates insulin levels, and the adrenal cortex and the adrenal corticotropic hormone, ACTH. ACTH is secreted by the pituitary and is essential for physical and mental growth and development. In other words, a Black person's level of thinking, which is mental growth, needed to solve their race's problems cannot be achieved with a low amount of melanin caused by an understimulated pineal. The melanin secreted by the pineal aids the posterior pituitary's effect on the hormone oxytocin. Oxytocin stimulates uterine contraction during the birth of a baby. Oxytocin is similar to morphine. It is one of the main hormones that causes people to bond to each other, mother and child, man and woman, friend and friends. Black people with inadequate melanin levels will have problems getting along together, which is unity, forming positive groups, the like. And they will constantly destroy each other. They will lack the energy to sustain unity because natural bodily made sugars regulated by melanin cannot be utilized. This is the result of inadequate insulin. The pancreas insulin hormone takes the natural sugars, not white sugars, etc., out of the blood and puts it into tissue. The melanin's inability to regulate insulin causes mood swings, irritability, and low energy. The liver's ability to make bile is potentiated by melanin. The pineal's melanin hormones act on the liver, and if inadequate, this will decrease the gallbladder's digestive bile fluid secretion. This results in unstable energy and moods. The pineal stimulates the nervous systems and the brain. Consequently, brain function is compromised, and the type of thinking needed to create ideas to solve emotional, mental, and spiritual problems is not sufficient. The pineal gland's ability to secrete melanin is sunlight dependent. The sun radiates full color spectrums of light. Full spectrum light striking the eyes, retina nerve, stimulates the pineal gland to secrete melanin. Melanin turns into serotonin hormone and melatonin hormone. Black people that spend vast amounts of time indoors and out of sunlight, or are exposed to the visual pollution of artificial light, sunglasses, television, reflected light of concrete, bricks, highways and buildings, window glass, contact lenses, monitors, television screens and fluorescent lights, wireless cell phones and earphones and cars all tend to have mild depression. A polluted environment, public drinking water, noise pollution, negative moods or social situations, acidic bodily conditions, lack of exercise, processed foods, synthetic drugs, and computers decrease melanin production and the stimulation of the pineal. This visual pollution can result in mild depression because the pineal gland is deprived of sunlight and exposed to negative stimulation. When children are deprived of sunlight, it can cause physical and emotional problems. Children who spend many hours inside or indoors, like in school buildings, playing video games, viewing television, and using artificial light, are deprived of sunlight. Sunlight deprivation results in an understimulated pineal, causing the child to grow up and become an adult with decreased reproductive function, decreased gonad weight. In adult animals that have no reproductive organ or gonad, due to castration, the pineal gets small and the pituitary gets large. Sunlight deprivation decreases the stimulation of the pineal, which is almost similar to a castration state condition, which causes one to conclude that the same effect happens with people. Pineal shrinks and pituitary enlargement. The understimulated pineal decreases, which inhibits the reproductive organs or gonads response to gonadotrophinus or trophins, gonadotrophins. This causes a decreased weight of the ovaries and testicles. The pineal gland increases sperm production and helps with female fertility. The pineal gland increases progesterone hormone made by the corpus luteum. Also, the pineal's melanin secretions help produce melatonin. Melatonin is the hormone that synchronizes the rhythmicity of the body. It helps to control the circadian rhythm. The body has a circadian cycle rhythm for digesting food. Ideally, it should be eaten from 12 noon to 7 p.m. metabolized into the blood from 7 p.m. to 4 a.m., and from 4 a.m. to noon, the body is cleansing. The pineal gland secretion of melanin converts into serotonin, then melatonin. These hormones need darkness and sunlight to stabilize the rhythm of the body. Sunlight deprivation destabilizes the circadian rhythm, causing seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. This is associated with abnormal melatonin activity. SAD, depression symptoms, can be relieved with daily exposure to sunlight and to full spectrum artificial light bulbs and the use of melatonin supplement. Melatonin supplements, along with optimum nutrition, adequate darkness, and sunlight, are vital. Melatonin release is stimulated by noradrenaline, which is norepinephrine, low blood sugar, which is hypoglycemia, darkness, and dopamine. The addition of a melatonin supplement helps dopamine to calm the emotions and body, helps tryptophan to make serotonin, helps stop antibodies produced by cardiosteroids, decreases the growth of certain types of cancers, causes sedation and sleep, causes sedation and sleep, and decreases the growth of tumors. Melanin is dependent upon melanin, and melanin is dependent upon the pineal gland and healthy nutrition, which is whole, unprocessed, unchemicalized foods. This is the end of part 1.